We always start with the main event on first look. Jiri Prochazka, he has been out for quite some time, but I will tell you, the last time he was around, 10 units max bet on Jiri Prochazka against Glover Teixeira. That was a very dicey one, but a winner nonetheless at minus 200. So really, really happy to cash that bet. And now I'm really excited to see Jiri Prochazka back. I mean, if you guys are fight fans, if you guys enjoy watching fighting, you love Jiri Prochazka. I don't know how you wouldn't. The guy is insane. He goes out there and invites violence for and against. And he's just put on a number of really fun wars over the course of his career. That's in Ryzen and that's in the UFC. You look at a lot of guys that get pushed up the card quickly. Look at an Abus Magomedov, right? How quickly the tables have turned. He goes from, getting that quick win, that quick finish over Dustin Stoltzfus. He gets vaunted into a UFC main event. Then he gets run over by Sean Strickland. They bring him down the card. They give him Caio Barajo, no favors, right? And now he's dealing with 2 losses in a row. But Jiri Prochazka, they threw him right into the deep end of the pool. Former title challengers, really difficult, obstacles along the way. He comes in against, Volkan Ozdemir after dusting CB Dalloway, Fabio Maldonado, Muhammad Lawal. Those are all UFC level fighters. Bruno Capoloza, Carl Albrechtsen, other guys that have made, some waves in Bellator or PFL or these other organizations. So he has been beating good fighters like Vadim Nemkov way back in the day in Ryzen. He's had all these wins, but then he gets to the UFC. Volkan Ozdemir, title challenger, beats him. Dominic Reyes, title challenger, beats him. Both with vicious knockouts. And that's what vaunted him to that title shot, right? Jiri Prochazka, just 2 wins in the organization, gets the title shot and delivers. 5th round finish, really back and forth fight. It looked at various points like Glover Teixeira had knocked this man out, but Jiri just doesn't die. You see so many times he gets hurt, rocked, wobbled, and he finds a way to continue. He finds a way to grab a hold of somebody. He finds a way to keep on fighting. And that's what makes him an entertaining fighter. Now, against somebody like Alex Poatan Pereira, against a professional kickboxer, against a guy who's world-class on the feet and also has an insane highlight reel, you don't necessarily want to trade those kind of blows. So that's what makes this fascinating matchmaking. That's what makes this a really interesting fight. On the one hand, I think that Jiri Prochazka has shown in the past that he has real skills on the ground as well. He's not a conventional grappler. He's not a conventional wrestler, but he is a guy that has skills in all positions. We saw him last time out. Let's not forget, submit a, very world-class Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner in Glover Teixeira. So shout out to our guy Ghost says, I describe Jiri as a dude swinging a samurai sword saying, what could go wrong? Oh, that. Alex, I believe, is actually 3-0 in New York City. Rich, if I'm not mistaken. He's definitely gotten multiple wins inside the Garden. So Pereira is one of these guys that the UFC definitely likes to put in this headlining role, right? He went against Israel Adesanya, got that 5th round stoppage, really impressive stuff. And I think that both of these guys have power in their hands. They've got explosive finishing. But I do think that we've seen questionable grappling out of Alex Pereira on a number of occasions. I think that Israel Adesanya had some success grappling against him in their contest the first time in the UFC, which was a little bit surprising. Alex got a takedown as well, but his wrestling, his grappling, it looked very sloppy in that fight. It looked very sloppy against Michailidis as well. So there's been a couple times I felt like Alex has looked dicey in the grappling, and no time more so than that last time out against Jan Blachowicz, right? Gets taken down, gives up his back. He's in horrible positions, and Jan Blachowicz is a little bit older, right? He's a little bit long in the tooth. He has already, tasted that title glory. He was trying to crawl his way back to that top spot. And he wasn't able to do it, but he was able to put Alex in a lot of danger. And he was able to slow Poatan down by putting him in those grappling situations early. Felt like it took a lot of the sting off of Pereira's blows down the stretch. And I do think that Jiri Prochazka is a guy that could potentially mix up the wrestling and the grappling in this fight. I think he would be very wise to do so. And I just think that he also can compete on the feet. Now, is he a little bit open with his defense? Is he a little bit hands low for my liking? Yeah, he definitely is. He invites a little bit of risk, but we also have some question marks about Jiri coming into this spot. Was he dealing with a shoulder injury? Was he dealing with a USADA suspension? There's a lot of, rumors, speculation, innuendo that's out in the community at this point, but I don't have that information myself. So what I can go based on is the fact that when we've seen him compete, he normally fights tooth and nail like a dog for your money. And he was last time out favored -200 against Glover Teixeira, the guy who, has been teaching up Alex Pereira on how to compete in mixed martial arts. And now he's an underdog to his protege here. Maybe you could argue that the hardware is superior for Alex Pereira, and that's the ultimate difference maker. He's got more power. And we did see Glover rock Jiri Prochazka with that left hook as well. But I just think of Jiri Prochazka as a guy that finds ways to survive. I thought he was knocked out by Dominic Reyes, who, by the way, I bet in that fight at +125. I thought Dominic had him literally as good as KO'd, and he still found a way to come back in that fight. I mean, it was a little bit of a lapse in IQ by Dominic Reyes, but still, it showed the heart of a champion, I thought, from Jiri Prochazka, and the same thing that we saw last time against Glover. So now he's had some time off. He's had some R&R, rest and recovery. So I think that this is a really interesting matchup, but I'm surprised a little bit to see Jiri Prochazka at plus money. I did expect this to be a pick'em price because I think both guys have a lot of questions to answer. For Alex Pereira, is he going to be a light heavyweight champion in the UFC? Is he of that quality? Is he of that ilk? He definitely has skills. He's got real abilities, and he's huge, right? He was a huge middleweight, but we saw against Jan Blachowicz, one of the elder statesmen of the division, that, he could definitely be in very close fights. He's not going to make it clean, clear, unanimous wins every time out at light heavyweight. And I do think that this is a unique challenge in Jiri Prochazka, who's very dangerous in all phases of MMA. So my early lean, my first look is actually towards the underdog here, Jiri Prochazka. I think that it's a very fascinating fight, but I think that Jiri offers a lot. And one thing I always talk about, guys, is getting, younger fighters with more experience. We've got the 31-year-old Jiri Prochazka here, who's got way more mixed martial arts experience. He's 5 years younger than Alex Pereira, and he is the slight underdog in the contest. So for those reasons, yeah, I'm going to lean ever so slightly towards Jiri in that main event. But I'm going to say, this is my first look. If you guys are new here, I do more research, more due diligence throughout the week. I tape study the fights very in depth. I look into the market, every aspect of the fight that I possibly can. And from there, I try and form a final opinion that I bring back to you guys on Thursday for bets and banter. But right now, I'm definitely leaning towards Jiri Prochazka.